The stars above Eros 9 station shimmered like they always had, silent, peaceful, calm. Diplomats from across the galaxy walked the shining metal halls, their voices soft, their smiles polite. Peace had lasted for 20 years. Most believed it would last forever. But Captain Rhea Carter didn't believe in forever. She stood near the giant window of the Earth Embassy, watching the stars. Something in her gut felt wrong. She couldn't explain it. There were no warnings, no alerts, no enemy signals. But still, the silence felt heavy. Behind her, a group of alien diplomats laughed and drank at a long glass table. Their species were many tall creatures with crystal blue skin, small ones with floating orbs, and feathered beings from the cloud colonies. All members of the Galactic Peace Council. Rhea turned as someone approached. It was Ensign Melick, one of her most trusted communication officers. He looked nervous. "Ma'am," he said in a low voice, "we picked up something strange." Rhea's eyes narrowed. "Go on." "It came through a diplomatic channel, encrypted. Not ours, not from any of our allies." He handed her a small data chip. She placed it into her wrist console and waited. A few seconds passed, and then a single message appeared on the screen. "Begin Phase 1. Earth will not see it coming." Rhea's heart stopped. "Where did this come from?" she asked. "We don't know. The signature is masked. But the timing, it came right before the meeting began." Rhea looked toward the table where aliens were still laughing and pretending. The Peace Summit was about to start. They were here to sign a new agreement, one that would limit Earth's expansion rights in 3 sectors. She had argued against the treaty, so had many others, but the Council wanted it. They said it would bring balance. Rhea now wondered if it was just a trap. "Keep this quiet," she told Melick. "Not a word." "Not yet." He nodded and left quickly. She walked toward the main conference room, her boots clicking on the smooth floor. The doors opened silently, revealing a large circular chamber. Representatives from Earth and alien worlds took their seats around. A glowing blue table, the head of the council, a tall alien named Vostell, stood in the center. His skin was pale silver, his eyes glowing faintly. He raised his hand. "Let this be a day of peace," he said in a deep, smooth voice. "Let all races agree. Let Earth know its place." The last words hung in the air like poison. Rhea didn't sit. She stared at him. Her fingers tightened. Her mind ran through possibilities. She opened a secure line to Earth Command through her neural link. It took 5 seconds for the reply. "Captain Carter, what's wrong?" A voice asked. She sent the message she had received. There was silence. Then the voice returned, sharper now. "That code, that's military grade. Not pirate, not rogue. That's an organized fleet's transmission." Rhea answered quietly in her mind. "Should I act?" "Not yet," came the reply. "Watch, wait, record everything. We'll prepare." The meeting continued. Speeches were made. Agreements were signed. No one mentioned the message. No one talked about fleets or war or betrayal. But Rhea saw it in their eyes. Some aliens avoided looking at her. Others smiled too much. A few, like the armored Brakari warrior sitting across the room, just stared in silence, their hands near. Their weapons. The treaty was finalized. Earth lost rights in 3 sectors. The crowd clapped. Drinks were raised. Holograms lit up in celebration. But deep in her mind, Rhea whispered, "This isn't peace. It's preparation." Later that night, alone in her quarters, she opened a hidden screen. It showed Earth's defense grid, quiet for now, but alert. A blinking symbol appeared near the Earth defense line. One of Earth's listening posts had just picked up movement near deep space. Too far to see clearly, but not far enough. "They're coming," she whispered. and Earth would be ready. Asterisk, it began with a screen and then silence. The lunar relay station, orbiting just beyond Earth's moon, sent out one final signal before vanishing. One word, incoming. Then, Nothing. Commander Eli Nash was on night watch at Terran Defense Command when the alert hit his screen. At first, he thought it was a drill. False alarms happened before, but this one didn't stop blinking. He leaned in closer. Signal loss. Confirmed, said the AI voice beside him. Lunar station destroyed. No survivors detected. His heart pounded. Pull up last feed. The screen lit up with grainy footage, an engineer running, alarms blaring, and then darkness. A bright flash filled the screen. The station exploded. From the inside out, not a malfunction. A strike. Red alert. Eli ordered. Wake command. Send it to the council. Within seconds, alarms echoed through Earth's orbit stations. Ships powered on. Shields rose. Pilots rushed to battle stations. Earth hadn't fought a full war in nearly 2 decades, but that peace had just ended. Far from Earth, at the edge of human territory, the outpost on Rika 3 was also lost. Not to fire, but to silence. A team of miners and engineers on the planet's surface looked up as the sky shimmered unnaturally. Strange lights danced across the clouds. Then the power died. All comms failed. Gravity twisted for a moment, and then they vanished. No debris. No rescue beacons. No signal. Just gone. Back at Terran Command, chaos grew by the hour. One general shouted, "Get me Admiral Knox now." Another asked, "How many attacks?" 3 confirmed. 2 more suspected. What species? We don't know yet. But Rhea Carter knew. Still aboard Eros 9, she sat in her quarters with her hand pressed to her earpiece. "They've begun," she said coldly. Earth's High Command answered, "Confirmed. All forces are on standby. Return immediately." Rhea looked out the window. Alien ships still floated nearby, silent and calm, like nothing had happened. Liars. She turned from the stars and packed her bag. She wasn't going home to hide, she was going back to lead. 3 days later, in orbit around Mars, Earth's fleet began to move. Ships that had stayed hidden for years now launched from the surface, from the asteroid bases, from secret hangars. Under frozen oceans, humans didn't forget war. They just waited for the right time. In deep space, at the edge of Sector Zeta 14, an alien fleet regrouped. "We struck first," said one of the captains, his voice sharp. "They will not strike back. Earth is soft, unprepared." His second-in-command disagreed. "That is not what I have heard. Earth hides things. Then we will burn those secrets." The fleet formed up. 100 ships, all armed, all ready. Back on Earth, the people watched. The news. Some were afraid, some were angry, but most were quiet. Too quiet, because deep down, they knew. The first shots had been fired, and Earth had only just started to respond. Asterisk, they thought Earth was caught off guard, but Earth had been watching. Long before the first attack, long before the betrayal, Command had already suspected something, and they had quietly begun to prepare. Deep beneath Antarctica's ice, a secret facility named Vault Horizon had been running non-stop for 5 years. Only a few knew of its existence. Top admirals, engineers, and one woman, Admiral Lena Voss. Now, she stood inside the freezing dome, watching rows of massive warships light up. Their smooth black hulls gleamed like shadows, built not for show, but for speed, stealth, and power. "They've started," said her aide, handing her a report. 3 colonies gone, 1 Earth station destroyed. Admiral Voss didn't blink. "Then it's time." She turned to the engineers. "Wake the fleet." The room roared to life. At the same time, far above Earth, Commander Eli Nash was in the main war room at Terran Defense Command. On a giant holomap, red lights spread across space. Enemy fleets moving. Earth's allies were silent. No warnings. No help. Eli stared at the blinking patterns. "They're pushing us," he muttered. General Arden stood beside him. "They want to provoke panic, fear, but they don't know the truth." Eli turned. "Which is?" The general smiled coldly. "We let them strike first. 10 years ago, Earth had discovered the alien factions had been secretly sharing weapons. Treaties were fake. Smiles were rehearsed. The Peace Council wasn't about peace, it was about control. So, Earth decided to play along. To wait. To watch. To plan. They pretended to stay weak. Allowed treaties to pass. Kept their strongest ships hidden in asteroid belts and ice moons. Now, those ships were waking up. Far out in Neptune's shadow. A Terran stealth ship powered on. TSV Revenant. Its captain, Arlo Gray, opened a sealed order packet that had been locked for over 3 years. It read, "Phase 0. Stand by until provoked. Upon enemy aggression, activate all Ghost-class fleets. Objective, strike unseen, strike deep." He smiled grimly. "So they want war," he said. "Let's give them a ghost story." Back at Vault Horizon, Admiral Voss watched as the first ship, the TSV Titan, rose from its icy dock. A beast of a warship, silent, covered in plasma armor, equipped with the new Omega Lance, a weapon not even the Council knew existed. "Let them come," she said. "They think we're scrambling." She turned toward the stars. "They have no idea. We were always ready." And across the galaxy, the alien coalition smiled too soon. They thought Earth had been caught sleeping. They didn't know Earth had been awake the whole time, sharpening its blade in the dark. It was silent near Saturn. Too silent. 100 alien warships floated like hunters in the dark, forming a wide net around the far moons. Their weapons were charged. Their shields glowed faintly. Their commanders waited for Earth to make a mistake. They waited for panic. They waited for fear. Instead, they saw something else. A shimmer. A ripple in space. And then they saw shadows. Massive. Unseen. Until now, Earth's hidden fleet uncloaked like rising ghosts from the void. 50 ships. Bigger. Faster. Smarter. Each one shaped like a blade. Their hulls had no markings. No names. Only purpose. Captain Arlo Gray stood aboard the TSV Revenant, staring at the battlefield through the glass dome of his command deck. He didn't shout. He didn't panic. His voice was calm. "Begin Thunderwake." At once, the human fleet moved without sound, without hesitation. The first blow came from above. A Terran destroyer slipped through the gaps of the alien formation, then unleashed a silent torpedo with a black and blue energy trail. The weapon sliced into a Draxian flagship and exploded inside the ship's shield field. 1 second. The alien vessel was there. The next, it was gone, vaporized. The other aliens didn't even have time to scream. Back at Earth Command, General Arden and Admiral Voss watched the live feed. The screen lit up with enemy ships blinking out one by one. "They didn't expect this," said Voss. "No," Arden said, "because they never thought Earth would build weapons we swore we'd never use." She nodded. "Let them learn." Back near Saturn, the battle raged. But it wasn't loud. It wasn't messy. It was surgical. Terran ships struck in precise movements, dodging plasma, breaking lines, disabling engines with EMPs that turned alien. Shields into smoke. Aliens screamed into coms, shouting orders, begging for backup. But Earth had jammed the entire sector. Then came the turning point. The TSV Titan arrived. It exited hyperspace, like a falling moon, its hull glowing with charged Omega plasma. The alien fleet tried to scatter. Too late. Fire the lance, said the captain. A beam of white-blue energy cut across space, splitting a battlecruiser in two and knocking another ship into the rings of Saturn. Alien commanders went silent. One of them, watching from a damaged carrier, whispered to himself, "This is not the Earth we mocked." The battle ended in 13 minutes. Out of 100 alien ships, only 12 escaped. And Earth didn't lose a single one. Back on Earth, the footage leaked. No one knew how. But within hours, the galaxy saw it, the Terran fleet. The Omega Lance. Silence of power. And in one corner of the galaxy, far from the battle, a young alien diplomat watched the video with shaking hands. "They let us hit them first," she whispered, "so they could hit back harder." Operation Thunderwake wasn't just an attack. It was a warning. Earth had arrived, and the galaxy would never forget it. Asterisk. They tried to keep it secret, but truth doesn't stay buried. Not when 1,000 cameras were watching the sky. It started with a single clip just 47 seconds long. A beam of light tearing through the void. Shadowed Terran ship moving like a ghost. An alien voice screaming before being cut off. The clip was uploaded by a civilian ship near Saturn's outer ring. The freighter was there by accident, hidden behind ice rocks, watching the entire battle. The pilot's name was Juno Merrick, and her words echoed across the stars. "They didn't even see us coming. Earth didn't just fight, Earth ended it." The video went viral, not just on human networks, but alien ones. Every race, every world, everyone watched the same clip, over and over. The mighty Draxian, warships burning, the glowing lance of Omega fire cutting through command ships like paper. Quiet, cold power of Earth's fleet, no emotion. No fear. Just precision. On the trade halls of Caesari Prime, merchants paused their work and stared at public screens. On the education domes of the Andari moons, students watched silently as Earth's name spread faster than light. On border worlds that had once mocked Terrans, leaders shut down embassies in panic. And on distant planets ruled by the Galactic Council. The footage was banned within hours. Too late. The stars had already seen. Juno Merrick, the freighter pilot, became an accidental hero. She was interviewed on every network. "What did you feel when you saw Earth's fleet?" One reporter asked. She paused. Then answered, "Safe." Meanwhile, in the shadows of Galactic Council chambers, silence ruled. The ambassadors whispered among themselves. How did Earth build such weapons? How did they hide this? How long have they been waiting? None had answers, but one. Ambassador, older and wiser than the rest, said softly, "We told stories of how Earth was slow and weak. We never asked what Earth remembered." Back on Earth, Admiral Voss stood before her command table, watching the spread of the footage. The red wave of enemy attacks had stopped. No new strikes. No movements. Just silence. "They're scared," her aide said. "No," she replied. "They're thinking." Later that night, in the dark of her quarters, Rhea Carter watched the clip too, over and over. Her eyes never left the screen, because it wasn't just about ships or weapons. It was about something deeper. It was about respect earned in fire. Across the galaxy, a message began to spread, not from Earth, but about Earth. 4 words, whispered in different tongues. Do not test them. Asterisk. The council called an emergency meeting. No cameras. No broadcasts. Just shadows, whispers, and locked doors inside a cold chamber orbiting Terran Prime. For the first time in 50 years, Earth wasn't invited, not even mentioned on the entry logs, but every seat at the table knew why they were there. The footage. A silence. Earth broke with fire. High Chancellor Vostell stood at the center, hands clasped behind his back, silver eyes narrowing. "This cannot spread," he said. "It will cause unrest, fear, collapse of order." A scaled ambassador from Tsar hissed, "It's already everywhere. My people demand to know why Earth was allowed to grow this strong in secret." A soft voice followed. The Andari representative, known for her calm mind, sighed. "You told us Earth was primitive, undisciplined. Now they wield weapons we don't even understand." Vostell's jaw tightened. They struck only after provocation. And they did it perfectly. Someone whispered. The chamber fell silent, because the truth was clear. The Council didn't fear Earth because it had power. They feared Earth because it had control. Behind the scenes, Council agents moved fast. News channels were shut down. Networks were scrambled. Search results wiped. Even Juno Merrick's video was taken offline from multiple systems. But they were too late. Copies spread like wildfire through underground channels and private devices. Even school children on rim planets had seen Earth's fleet in action. And they didn't feel fear. They felt awe. On a small moon in Sector 12, a young alien technician named Kiri whispered to her brother, "I want to be like them." Like who? The humans. On Earth, the truth didn't just spread, it grew. Former allies who stayed silent during the attacks now reached out, offering new trade deals and peace talks. Even enemies were quiet. Some Council races pulled their patrols from shared borders. Others offered apologies for misunderstandings. But Earth's leaders didn't reply. They watched. They waited. Because they knew this wasn't over. Inside a hidden base on Europa, Admiral Voss read the latest reports. Her officers stood nearby, anxious. Council trying to erase everything. One of them said, "Even denying the battle happened." Voss smiled. "Let them deny it. The stars remember." Meanwhile, Rhea Carter walked through the Terran embassy on Mars. A crowd had gathered outside, chanting, cheering, not in protest, but in respect. They didn't ask for war. They didn't celebrate death. They celebrated proof. Proof that Earth would never kneel again. In the final hours of the day, a pirate signal cut through all Council networks. It wasn't from Earth. It was from somewhere else unknown. Untraceable. The message was simple. Just 7 words. You tried to bury them. They rose. The galaxy held its breath. Worlds that once mocked Earth now watched with quiet fear. Some planets turned their defense stations toward Terran space, not to threaten, but to respect the distance. In quiet corners of distant empires, whispers spread faster than ships. They were never weak. They were just waiting. But Earth wasn't celebrating. In the war room beneath the Atlantic, Admiral Voss stood alone before a large holographic map of the galaxy. Red markers blinked across the rim. Ships, outposts, silent eyes watching Earth. "Status?" she asked quietly. Her aide responded, "They've backed off. For now, no new attacks. But there's movement. Council ships are shifting, rerouting forces to unknown sectors." She nodded. "They're afraid." "No, ma'am," he said. "They're planning." At the same time, a new order swept through Earth's hidden military channels. One line, just 7 words. Prepare the expansion directive. No more hiding. Captain Arlo Gray, aboard the TSV Revenant, received the command while orbiting a shattered moon. He read it twice, then leaned back in his chair. "So it begins," he whispered. Behind him, engineers prepped long-range jump drives, ones never used in public missions. Earth's Navy wasn't just building defenses now. They were reaching outward, not to destroy, but to remind the stars Earth had arrived. On the planet Velaris, once home to loud anti-human protests, crowds now gathered under the night sky, waiting to see them. Terran ships, human visitors. A girl in the crowd held a small homemade flag, not of her own world, but Earth's blue and white crest. We saw them protect their own, she told a local news drone. I want to live on a world like that. Back on Earth, in a quiet room inside a government compound, Rhea Carter stood with a group of young officers. All had seen battle. All had survived the unthinkable. She looked at each of them and said only one thing. We are not just defenders anymore. We are architects of peace or war. It will be their choice, but it will be our hand. In the deepest parts of the galaxy, the Council continued their meetings. They spoke in fear. They spoke in plans. They spoke an old language of power, of control. But they missed one truth. This wasn't Earth's revenge, it was Earth's beginning. Final message, beamed from a Terran outpost to every major star system, played without warning. No speaker, no music, just words across a black screen. We remember who struck first. We remember who stayed silent. And we remember who watched. We are not looking for war. But if war finds us again, the galaxy will shake once. More. Humanity had been patient. Now it was present. And the stars would never be the same. Asterisk.